anybody can do and no one really has a problem with is we can go and prepare a system, and I'll cover that in a bit. To we can go over there and we can prepare a system to take over, right? We can get it ready. And the fact is nobody can oppose the preparation. Everybody competes to prepare. So it's basically in order to control a given system.
How fast?
Yeah. I'm about to hit that point. Please let me finish. Controlling a system and maintaining it is a 3-week process. This game runs in 3 weeks in week cycles, and in 3 weeks, this is what happens. So, well, it's actually 4 weeks, but we'll get to that in just a second. So, week 1. All right. So, here are some conditions. Edmund Mahon has money. He's got extra command capital that he can use at his disposal. We're not in debt. We have a bonus profit of capital, which we're collecting taxes from our exploited systems. We have a profit ratio of 763 right now. So that means that's capital that we can use to influence other systems. So what is happening right now in the preparations tab? Okay, this is what's going on. Commanders, us, we are taking preparation material, the preparation nominations from the boring talk we had, the boring thing we had earlier. We're taking those from a control system and we're dropping it off in a system that is not being controlled by a superpower at the moment. So basically, you can only prepare and control new systems, or you can only prepare new systems that aren't allied with anybody right now. So on the preparations tab, there is a list of systems that we are trying to prepare that A, no one is controlling, and B, we are winning. Actually, we're actually doing really good. This is also why Edmund Mahon is usually first, second, and third place. Is because people are always doing this kind of shit. Anyways, so the list of systems. So we're taking supplies from control systems, taking them to a neutral location on the map, dropping them off, and creating a situation where we are preparing to take over this area. You will be assimilated. That kind of thing. We're getting ready to do that. And we're doing that by dropping off a bunch of money in your face. That's basically what we're doing. Legislative reports or whatever the fuck we're transporting. I don't remember. Alliance trade agreements. I'm looking fucking right at it, David. You idiot. We're taking alliance trade agreements. So basically, we're giving them agreements of contracts so that say we're going to make you money if you sign up with us. That's what we're doing. We're using money for our influence. So we're doing that in these systems. Okay, so what's...
I'm just talking to myself.
All right. So we have 10 systems, and one is not a system. It's actually a consolidation. We have basically 9 systems that we are expanding into, or we are preparing to expand into. So we're preparing 9 systems. All right. So what's going on? That's going on. So what's happening? At the end of this week, aka Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Elite Dangerous shuts down and the server resets and updates all of the information that has been collected in the background simulation of the game all week. The background simulation is a thing that's happening behind the scenes within the game that influence superpowers, the markets, the commodities market. I told you it's a living market. That's because it's background simulated. The stock market's going up and down. People are turning in merits and cashing in on bounties and all this other shit. Everything in the game is being calculated in the background of the game to influence, whether good or bad, in every system, in every part of this game. So it's one of those things where you're literally influencing the course of the game. Whether good or bad, whether big or small, you're doing your part. All right, so with all that background data being collected, it is all collected at, I think it's 7 o'clock GMT, which is London Greenwich Mean Time, which is actually the time in the upper right-hand corner of your Elite Dangerous. That's actually Greenwich time. So at 7 o'clock GMT, the server is going to shut down. All the information that has been collected from background data will collect and be added to the game in the official sense, and will literally change the course of the game for that entire next week. So the board refreshes. What happens now? So at the end of the week, all of the exploited systems in the game pay their taxes to the superpower. All of the commodities markets get reorganized and updated, and stock markets go up and down, whatever. Markets crash, people go into revolt, blah, 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 blah. Edmund Mahon gets his capital. The power play, superpower standings change. So people go up or down based on how much activity their power did last week. So if we don't do our part, Edmund Mahon may drop to second or third the next week. We don't know. People need to do their job. Anyway, so that all happens. That all ticks. The commodities market, powers change. And most importantly, everything resets. So you lose 50% of all your merits, which is a big hit for certain things. Everybody loses 50% of all their merits they have accumulated for the last week, which is why in the huge speech earlier, to maintain rank 5, you have to maintain 5,400 merits. That's because you lose half every single week. So that's why it's only 5,400 to maintain it per week once you acquire it, because you only lose half your merits. You don't lose all. So it is a platform to stand on should you choose to do that. Anyway, but that happens for everybody. It's basically a giant board wipe. It's just like table flip. Now we start over. The bubble changes. It gets reconfigured. All right, so back to preparation, David. Preparation. So the top 10, this is what we're getting to. The top 10 or 9 systems that we have prepared to the best of our ability become available for next week's expansion. So right now, we have no ability to expand because no one prepared last week. But we are preparing 10 systems this week, which means on Thursday, we'll actually be able to expand to these new systems if we maintain this foothold.
Actually, on the issue of expansion, I picked up my quota of legislative contracts. Is there anywhere specific I need to take those?
All right. Legislative contracts. Those are... We are not currently expanding to any systems, so you need to get rid of them. There is no system available for expansion, as noted on the expansion tab. Right there. So basically, they're
All right. Jumped out to a nearby star. I'll go ahead and jettison them.
All right. There you go. So the first week is prepare. Second week is expand. So expanding. So now we have influence in the system. We have the acknowledgement of the system. But now we need to actually expand to it. We need to physically take over the system. So in most other superpowers, Zachary Hudson in particular, this is the week where the military strikes shows up. The military strikes is Zachary Hudson's militaristic way of physically taking over the system by, you will fall in line, motherfuckers, or you will get shot in the face. So that's what he does.
Until dead.
Yeah, basically, shoot until dead, fire until dead. So, but because we're more of a trading company, there's not a whole lot of, we can't really use military force to expand because we use money to expand. Because we're traders, passenger liners, duh.
Trader.
Yeah, we're traders. Ha ha ha. If you want to be all about combat, you need to be all about that undermining life, which is what I'm going to get to when I get to control. So
yeah, part of the trader.
Exactly.
Sorry, I had to.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay, all right. So next week we will be able to expand to those. We'll be able to expand to those 10 systems next week. Long story short, you go to I believe it's a control. Right, there it is. It's right in front of me. Fucking read it, David. How to expand. Collect alliance legislative contracts from our controlled systems and deliver them to contacts in systems we are expanding to facilitate Edmund's acquisition of the system. All right, so we're going to use contracts to make money to control the system. And I'll use the galaxy map to explain the point in just a minute. So next week we'll be able to expand. The following week after that, so in 2 more weeks, so not this week but next week, we'll be able to tab 3, fortify and control those particular systems. Now, control, fortify. Fortifying is the powers, selected powers' ability to maintain control of their allotted systems. We're basically fortifying it against bullshit. And when a system becomes fortified, it is a guaranteed reduction cost to capital, which makes it cheaper for Edmund to keep his grasp on it for the following week. You're always going to want to fortify, which is the whole transport the cargo bullshit thing from rank 5 that we learned about in the big, huge, long conversation. This is where it applies to. It applies to control and fortify, to where we basically collect Alliance legislative reports, or records, from contacts in controlled systems we wish to fortify and deliver them to Gateway, Edmund's primary system headquarters, in order to secure the allotted system. So basically, all right, I'm going to use the galaxy map for this because this is going to get a little ridiculous. You may follow along if you do so choose, otherwise you can watch the stream. Okay, so Codo Rain, CODO Rain, is the system. It is the control system in charge of the protection of Delcar, aka our mining outpost. And I'm going to use the same exact analogy I used last week in order to explain this. All right, if you're watching the stream, here we go. Codo Rain, it is a controlled system. That system in particular is basically a minor headquarters. I'm hearing a horrible echo. Steven. Thank you. All right, so every control system has a sphere of influence. All right, so a control system is a system that a superpower controls that is in charge of the maintaining of the taxation and representation of the exploited systems within their sphere of influence. So,
No taxation.
Exactly. All right, so basically, a controlled system is basically Los Angeles, like the city of Los Angeles, like downtown. That is a controlled system. All right, so in that sphere of influence of LA County, you have Los Angeles, you have Anaheim, you have Santa Barbara, you have Hollywood, you have Orange County, you have all that shit in the grand area of influence of Los Angeles. All right, so LA is the control system, and Anaheim and Hollywood are exploited systems who cannot support their own, that must rely on the control system to support their existence, and they pay taxes too for services due of LA County. So Hollywood pays taxes to LA, and then LA is controlled by the superpower of the United States of America. So exploited systems pay their control systems pays all of that and more to the superpower, and the superpower makes profit on that system. So when you fortify the system, every system has a base value of how much profit CC they make per week, and they start at that base level, and it's based on how important the system is. When you fortify it to a completion trigger, which is fortify the system to 100%, I'll cover that in just a minute, you reduce that system's upkeep for the superpower. So you make it cheaper for Edmund to keep and maintain, because every system has an overhead cost, all that other shit, expenditures, whatever. All right, back to the game.
Before you proceed, I have one more question about fortifying. If a system is under threat, like I see one system here, which I'm currently in, by the way, will any hub in that system provide these contracts?
Okay.
That we just take back
All right, so yes, I believe that is the correct answer. So basically, to get the shit, you go to the control system and you fly to the nearest big station. That's what I do. Almost every single one of these control systems has a starport of some kind somewhere in the system that has all of this shit.